Perhaps in your life you've met someone who left you strangely unsettled. They were never rude, never raised their voice, always calm and composed. They were polite, gracious, always ready to help anyone in need. To the outside world, they were celebrated as a shining example of goodness. And yet, if you stayed close to them long enough, you couldn't shake off a quiet unease. It wasn't fear. It wasn't dislike. It was more like an instinct whispering that something wasn't quite real, as if behind that flawless image, another mask was being worn. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychoanalyst, once warned us, the most dangerous person is not the one who loses their temper, nor the one who displays selfishness openly. The true danger lies in the one who strives to appear perfect, who pretends they carry no darkness within them at all. In Jung's psychology, every one of us wears a social mask. We learn to put it on from a very young age because it helps us gain acceptance, love, and safety. As children, we quickly discover what makes adults smile and what makes them frown. We hold on to the traits that bring praise, and we bury the ones that invite rejection. Over time, we grow into the good child, the dutiful son or daughter, the pleasant friend, the agreeable colleague. But to preserve that mask, we are forced to push deep down the parts of ourselves deemed ugly. The anger, the jealousy, the desire to control, the longing to be noticed. Jung called all of this the shadow. And here's the truth. The shadow does not vanish just because it is buried. It stays alive, waiting, and when we refuse to look at it, it finds its own ways to emerge. Some people insist they never feel anger, yet you can see it in their cold stare, in their heavy silences that cut sharper than words. Others claim they know only love, but their love slowly becomes suffocating, a sweetness that tightens like chains, a care that disguises control. Jung once wrote, "What you do not make conscious will return to you as fate." In other words, if we do not face our own shadow, it will still act, only from the darkness. And when that happens, we are no longer the ones in control. Think of the person who prides themselves on being the kindest one. They give endlessly, they sacrifice constantly, they never say no. But deep inside, a hidden resentment builds. Why does no one care about me? Why does no one give back? And so, their kindness twists into forced sacrifice, into an obligation, into a subtle form of control. They don't see it, but what drives them is not pure generosity. It is their shadow, their fear of abandonment, their hunger for recognition. This is why such people can become dangerous, not because they are evil, but because they are blind to their own darkness. They believe they are always right. They think there is nothing about them that needs to change. They insist they carry no anger, no envy, no selfishness. But that very denial turns them into a mystery. And when denial wraps around mystery, it eventually breeds chaos. For if they will not face their shadow, the shadow will choose its own way to surface. Through sarcasm, through passive aggression, through relationships that control while pretending to care. But Jung never told us to get rid of the shadow. He believed that darkness is not an enemy to be destroyed, but a vital part of being human. If we want to live whole, we must learn to face it, to recognize it, and to bring it into consciousness. Instead of pretending to be endlessly kind, gentle, and filled with light, we need the courage to admit that within us there is also anger, envy, and selfish desire. And that admission does not make us bad. It makes us honest. Just as in a painting, the bright colors only shine because the dark ones are beside them, our inner light only gains meaning when we dare to acknowledge the shadows that accompany it. Imagine a person who knows they are capable of anger. That awareness allows them to take responsibility for their temper instead of letting it erupt in destructive ways. Or think of someone who admits they can be selfish at times. That honesty makes it easier for them to notice when they begin to manipulate others and to stop before it goes too far. In contrast, the person who clings to the belief, I am perfect, I never make mistakes, is the one most likely to be led blindly by their shadow. This is the paradox Jung emphasized. The person who is honest about their darkness is the safest person to be around, because they know that part exists, and they can choose how to handle it. So let me leave you with a question. In your own life, what are you hiding? Do you put on the mask of patience while inside you carry unspoken anger? Do you give endlessly while secretly waiting for recognition that never comes, and then resent its absence? Do you try so hard to appear good that at times you feel a stranger to yourself? If you can summon the courage to look at those hidden parts, you will discover that the shadow does not come to destroy you. It comes to give you strength, truth, and freedom. Jung called this process working with the shadow. It is not a battle to banish or conceal, but a journey into honesty with yourself. And when you can finally say, within me, there is both gentleness and anger, both goodness and imperfection, and all of it is mine, that is when you begin to live as a whole human being. Jung's message was never about fearing others. It was about waking up to ourselves. The most dangerous person is not the one who carries darkness, but the one who deceives themselves into believing they are only light. Because denial does not erase the shadow. It only allows it to creep in silently, shaping and destroying in ways we don't see. So ask yourself, do you have the courage to face the darkness within before it speaks for you? Because if you refuse, sooner or later, it will face you, and it will take control of your life. If your answer is yes, then you have already taken a profound step toward becoming a free and authentic human being. And if these words have stirred something within you, share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever faced your own shadow? And how did it change your life? If you'd like to continue this journey with me, exploring Carl Jung's psychology and the art of living truthfully, don't forget to subscribe. Because here, we do not deny the human experience. We learn to embrace it fully, both the light and the darkness, like two halves of the same soul.